Hello, how are you? This is Elena, and I'm here to do the reading for parents of the Sagittarius child for the month of February. And welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel, comment, like, all that good stuff. And what we do here is we pull 3 cards for the child perspective, and then I top it off with one final advice from this deck for you, the parent. And sometimes that advice card is related or in relationship to the conflict or challenge that your child may be facing, and other times it's just a advice card, a separate advice card just for you. So we'll find out later what you get. But for now, let's get going and see what your Sagittarius is going through during the month of February. I see. So you have a little mischievous Saggy potentially here in February. So this is the 7 of Swords in the position of what your child is experiencing during February. So this can work one of 2 ways. First, it can be that your little Sagittarius is being a little bit of mischievous, trying to push the boundaries to see how much he or she can get away with. Perhaps, literally taking toys away from the sibling, or just really pushing the envelope here, right? Or maybe a little bit of fibs too, or um, some storytelling. And I say that in air quotes here. Maybe bending the truth a little bit as well, because the swords does represent communication and thinking and all that. So you may notice that your little one is going through that here in February, but it can also be the flip. So we have this little monster here that's getting away with taking all the swords, right, and sneaking off. But then you also have this little guy here looking up, a little bit fearful there. So, your little Sagittarius could be one or the other. It can be the one that's actually being a little bit of a bratty brat there, or it can be the other one that's either observing. It could be a sibling observing an older brother or a younger brother, sister, what have you, getting away with things and maybe not knowing how to deal with that or how to navigate with that. So, of course, this is going to be different depending on your household and your situation and what you're going through. And we'll have a better idea as we unfold the reading. But just know that your child can be in one or the other, right? So either the one observing it, or maybe even someone taking away his or her toys and getting away with it, or the one actually doing it. Although I feel like Sagittarius would be the one being mischievous. Just, and I may just be saying that because I'm Sag rising, so perhaps. Anyhow, so in terms of the conflict here, you get the Fool. And so the Fool is all about setting out to discover and explore. And it's also a very independent card. It's about discovering something solo and heading out into the world to, get into new projects, new creativity, growing up quickly, having new ideas and new ways of doing things. And this is in the challenge position. So you could be, so this is starting to feel more like the Sag as being the one who's being a bit mischievous, pushing the envelope, because the reason for all of that, the challenge behind that, is that they kind of want to grow up faster than they're ready for, right? And they want to be more independent and they want to have more leadership. They kind of want to just be left alone and do their own thing here. And so that is the foundation or the crux or the impetus or the reason that they're being a bit of a handful this month, perhaps. What I always say is beautiful about pushing the envelope here or pushing boundaries is that it's really what they're doing is seeing, really it's about testing their skill set, right? And ability to um, navigate situations, to influence people and situations. So I think that's what's going on here. A lot of it is really managing and figuring out, well, who can I convince to do this with me? Or who can I convince to let me be off on my own and do my own thing? This is the kind of thing, when you have a child, for those of you who have a little older you know, children here, maybe junior high, high school, because you're here for different age ranges, right? So this is going to vary from household to household. But for some of you, this could be that feeling of, when you're kind of want to sneak off for an hour or two to go to the nearby McDonald's or whatever with your friends, or hang out, or go to the next door neighbor's house for an hour, but not really ask for permission and just kind of sneak off and do it and find independence. One of the things the Sagittarians are always proud of, even as adults, I have heard so many Sagittarians proudly claim that they were latchkey kids when they grew up, as growing up as children. And I never hear it like, oh, woe is me, I was a latchkey kid. It's always, oh yeah, I was a latchkey kid. My mom worked all day and I took care of myself and I did this and I did that. And so there's a lot of pride in being independent and self-sufficient when it comes to Sagittarians and their true essence and nature. And so obviously this starts showing up more the older they get. And so you're seeing a lot of this with your specific child in February. And again, the reason, the conflict, the challenge behind that is that they just want to be free. They want to have the freedom to explore and do their own thing their own way. And so you're seeing that already. Okay, so this card will tell us what your little one needs most from you during the month of February. Yeah, see, justice. And justice is about equilibrium. Justice is it also represents the Libra card, by the way. And it's about balancing energies. It's also about authority. So even though your child may not communicate this, and even though your child may not want this, what your child needs most from you here in February is to really balance this energy out, to interfere to the degree that brings true equilibrium, allowing them to have their own authority, but not to the point where it's going to bring them out of balance. Because the authority in the Justice card, the reason authority is there to begin with is so that things are fair and balanced. Okay, it's not about taking away authority and freedom. That's not what justice is about. It's about balancing it so that things don't go out of hand, right? So what your child needs most from you is to, even though they may not be exuding that they want that, because they don't want that, they don't want you to step in and put balance, but it is what they need most from you in February. And that works best with verbal, with words, because we have two swords cards here already, or two air cards. We have the Seven of Swords, which is very heady and can be verbose, and so is justice. And so in whatever way you're planning on implementing new rule or balance, it needs to be done verbally, or with action, intellectual action, if you will. And some of this could also be balanced by keeping them busy intellectually. So that could be another reason that your child's kind of off doing their own thing or wanting to, because they could potentially be getting bored, right? And Sagittarians are very intellectual. They need to stay busy in their mind. So perhaps a way that you can do this, like books, reading, because again, we're talking about air and topics of air, and that has to do with communication. So it has to do with books, reading, writing, bringing those projects in could potentially help keep them busy and interested intellectually, because that's the bottom line here. Sagittarians really needs to be intellectually stimulated here in February. So, okay, let's move on to the advice card for you, the parent. And this is for the month of February. What advice do you have for the parent of a Sagittarius child? Let's see. Spirit, what advice do you have for the Sagittarius parent child? A child parent. Oops. I hope you can see the cards okay. I realize I'm starting to lose my light here. It's starting to get dark. Oh, Three of Swords. Yes, that confirms. Now remember, we're reading this from the perspective of the child, right? So the Three of Swords is really, it's a tough card usually. in most tarot decks, because it's about heartbreak. It's about not getting what you want. It's about, but remember, you got this. You got this in the advice card. So this doesn't mean you're going to have heartbreak or your child's going to have heartbreak. Not at all. But it is in the advice card. So basically what it's confirming is that it's okay to step in and not let Sag have what they want. Okay. And I know that's hard to hear, because obviously as a parent, you want your little one to have whatever they want, right? But what they want is not necessarily bringing them the balance they need. So again, it's another swords card. And what did we say before? Swords signifies air. Air is related to all things intellectual, reading, writing, communicating. So this is confirmation that that's what your little one needs. So in essence, you will be, quote unquote, hurting your little one by not giving them what they want, but you will be strengthening them and helping them by giving them what they need. And again, what they need is, it's all about intellectual stimulation here. So this confirms it. It's about giving them what they need to occupy them in a way that interests them, to not go off and do things that are not necessarily to his or her best interest. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that this helped someone out there. And please, if you like the reading, comment, subscribe, like, and I hope to see you back here in March. Bye.